With that, the vice president of basketball operations, and obviously a guy with a former playing career, very illustrious himself, sits down with us here live at Chase Center. Willard and Dibs. We'll give you the keyword on YouTube again one more time before 10:30. So if you miss it, stay right where you are. But it's Mike Dunleavy Jr. here with us on 95.7 The Game. Hey, Mike, what's going on?
Not much. Thanks for having me, guys. Let's should we move on, talk a little basketball?
Yeah.
I mean, I love that. Let's just brush it under the rug.
Just segue.
When you were in
Shape the
college,
conversation.
there was a spill in your dorm room or your apartment. Were you just a sweep it under the rug guy?
Yeah, just
Is that what we
move
did?
on. Yep.
Well,
That's the way to go.
I mean,
That's the
actually,
best way.
maybe you can speak to it this way. Like tomorrow night helps this organization move on from the last week and a half in what sort of a way?
I think in a lot of ways, just in the sense we're turning the page. We'll have the ring night. Guys look at the rings. It'll be really exciting. Big night for the fans too. But you move on to the next season, and I think it's it speaks maybe to what we did last season, but also maybe some things that happened in training camp. And you've got these contract extensions. We got those done. Everything's behind us. Been around the team the last couple of weeks, and right now we're in a good spot heading into tomorrow night. Despite what's been said and everything that's going on, we feel great with where we're at, and we're excited to have a great year.
How hard is it to compartmentalize as a pro when on the court, yes, your teammates, but there's the plane, there's the practices, there's banquets, there's meetings. Is it difficult to try to compartmentalize maybe your feelings for any teammate on the court versus off the court?
Yeah, it's probably different than most workplaces, but in some ways it's similar. You go, you do your job, and sometimes you hang out with some people, sometimes you don't. Totally normal, but I really think, I've been around the last 10 days, I think we're good. Our guys are ready to go, and this is about winning and trying to run this thing back again.
These contract extensions felt like, from the perspective of the players who signed them, really interesting messages from them about their specific future. But I wonder what your perspective is with regard to Jordan saying, yes, this is where I want to do the next 4 or 5 years of my career. And then same for Andrew, and at a number that's less than what he's making right now. How would you put both of those into words?
We're thrilled to have him back. And like you said, I think we feel like we've got him on good contracts. They're happy about it. We're happy about it. Obviously, we've got a huge tax situation we got to look at and take care of. But everything's set for this season. Everything's about this year and trying to win this thing again. So we take it as a tremendous compliment that these guys want to be with us, and I think it speaks to the organization that Joe and Bob and Steve and everybody on down has built.
So what's that like for you and Bob in the front office going to Joe and say, hey, Joe, this is what we want to do. It's going to cost you $500 million next year. What do you think, Joe?
Again? Another guy? But that's the price of winning. And there's nobody more competitive in this whole thing than Joe. And so I think he realizes that there's a cost. And I'm not going to speak for him and say he's happy to pay it, but he understands. And it just means we've grown good players. We've acquired good players, and we're continuing to do so. And, we'll figure everything out when we need to.
He says with a smile, by the way.
There have been two wry grins that I've just noticed that are fat. Mike Dunleavy Jr. sitting with us. Because I want fans to understand, not that there isn't a massive luxury tax bill seemingly all the time with the Warriors, but this coming season that we're about to start, Jordan Poole is still on his original deal. So when these extensions kick in, you sort of look to the left and said, gosh, we got a tax bill that we got to figure out. How? How does a team go about figuring something like that out?
Well, I won't be able to give you the answer probably till next summer. But for now, we model, we look out, we project, and not only when we sign a guy now do we look at what they're making this season and the following season, but we look at 4 or 5 years down the road. So it's all a process. It's long-term thinking, but it's different than football. It's different than baseball. Our salary cap system's different. So you play within those parameters. You work within those guidelines, and you do your best to put the best product on the court under the rules. And right now we're doing that. It's expensive, but we're doing it, and we're going to continue to do it until it doesn't make any sense.
And right now you've got the best player, and we talked about the best face of the franchise in Bay Area history, maybe one of the best faces of a franchise you can remember in all of sports. What's his role like, and the name goes up for the YouTube audience, but the role that he plays on the court and certainly in times of crisis like you've seen over the last 10 days?
Well, I mean, Steph's the rock of this organization on and off the court. He's the benchmark for everything we've done and we built. And, when you have a guy like that, when your best player is also your best person, I think it makes it easier for Bob to manage, for Steve to coach, for the players to play. And that's what Steph does. And so, we all go to bed at night thanking the Lord that we have Steph Curry. That doesn't go unnoticed. And, here we are with another year. He looks great. And, we're expecting big things from him again.
You know what's fascinating also, you talk about the word projecting forward. An organization is always looking 5 years in advance. One thing that I think fans are really excited about, but they don't know to what level they can be excited about it, is this group of young players. And so Jordan Poole now, okay, you got your extension. That's going to be a big piece going forward. But a big part for what I'm excited to sit down and watch tomorrow night, like, what is Wiseman going to look like? What is Kuminga going to look like? Even a piece like Moses Moody. And sort of how do you see that sort of fitting in basketball and business-wise going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a really unique situation. I'm not sure it's been done before in the sense of can you continue to win with veterans at a high level and usher in these young guys and integrate them. So it's been a really fun and cool process. We spent a lot of time this summer just how do we get these younger guys to keep getting better as, we lose players like Gary Payton and Otto Porter and Nemanja Bjelica. So these young guys need to step in and play and perform. And so it's been a fun, process in terms of like, how do we get them at the level player development wise? James, I mean, even speaking for him from summer league until last preseason game, I mean, the guy's, the strides that he's made has really, we've noticed it internally because we see him every day in practice and stuff, but we're really pleased with his development. He's finally had a chance to be healthy, be on the court, get reps, all that. So we're excited about it, but it's also like a little daunting because it really hasn't been done. Like, I can't think of any other sports either where you're trying to like bridge this gap. It's a cool concept, and we feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, 2 timelines is what everyone talks about. And just watching James on the TV, he's popping off the screen so far from what we've seen this preseason. How do you find minutes for all these guys? And I know it's more of a Steve issue, but you and Bob have assembled a war chest of young talent, yet you want to get these guys to play and get real game minutes, but you also have to go out and serve the veterans as well. How do you guys as an organization try to blend those two?
Yeah, I mean, I think the best compliment we can receive as a front office is when some of our coaches come to us and it's like, God, we got a lot of guys. I don't know how we're going to be able to play them all. And okay, we've done our job.
Yeah.
Now you guys figure it out. But no, I mean, seriously, I think we've got some versatile players and we can intermatch and play together. And Steve will be able to comment on that more. But I think we put together a team that hopefully doesn't have a lot of weaknesses. And if we have some injuries and stuff, we can fill in and be okay. And so we feel good about the roster.
Mike, here's the part where I'm going to see if I can get you to rip the CBA.
Let's go, rip it.
Because this is absurd. Look, if it's Andrew Wiggins, that's one thing, but I don't understand it. Draft and develop, and you guys get taxed for doing things exactly like you're supposed to do.
Man.
Jordan Poole, if it gets to Wiseman and Kuminga, even the big 3 all drafted into, why is a team being penalized for that?
I can't get into it too much because that's going to cost me.
He's just here so we won't get fined.
I don't want to get you fined, obviously. But what's your thought there?
I mean, your sentiments are fair. That's the way we feel. We draft these guys. We develop them. I mean, going back to Steph and Clay and Draymond and Looney, I mean, these are all homegrown guys, and I would argue Andrew to a certain degree too, because of just grabbing him from Minnesota, and at a time where people didn't really value him that much around the league, and we've taken him, and he's put the work in and done a tremendous job, and was unbelievable last year in the playoffs. So we feel like all these guys we should be able to bring back. We haven't skirted the system to do it. We've just drafted and acquired well. So it is what it is, and I know they're looking at new CBA stuff now, but overall, we'll play within the rules and see what we can do.
We'll throw the same question to Bob here in just a few minutes because he's standing by. Mike Dunleavy Jr., thanks, man. Great to talk to you.
Appreciate it. You too. Yeah.